Okay, now it's starting to dry. So with the, you're gonna get some drips, and that's okay. With the hot pressed, as it starts to dry, you can begin to put in some other colors. And I'm gonna take my, you can take a picture of what's going on down exactly here if you like. Oops, that was lucky. That's not working. I think what I'm going to do is just go into the violet a little bit and define my flowers just a little tiny bit more. Now that's kind of heavy. Now you have to be careful, because if you go in too heavy too soon, you're going to end up, and I'm using this sword brush, which is going to give me a totally different look than you might get with a different brush. But I also think it's an interesting look. It makes you be freer and, less concerned about, being exact. Now, I put in a rather heavy bit of paint there, but then I came back with some water and I blended it out a little bit. So, and I may change the shape of the flower. Yeah, I'm not trying to get a botanical look. And I think, when you're first painting with and again, here's a different flower here. When you're first painting, I'm changing brushes because I put it in kind of dark. And I wonder if Laura does this. Laura's really quite accomplished at adding to the flower. My flowers are going to be kind of wild and crazy. Now I'm concerned this is the same size. This is the same size, and that's a problem. So I think what I have to make a decision. What do I do before it's too late? I think what I'm going to do is blur out some of this color to change the size. Maybe put some of it up here. And I think, unfortunately, that has dried, and so I've already lost that. So maybe what I'll do is spray it. No, it's this edge is dried. I have a scrubby brush. I don't know if the scrubby brush will work. Now, see that edge? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, it'll come off. But it's also taking off some of my paper. I'm not crazy about that. So what I may do is take and just make this a little bit bigger. All right, and bring the color into it a little more, so that this looks smaller. And I have to be very careful to keep this small. And also, it's to give a sense of it being further away. It's really important that it be lighter.
What color are you using now? One that you made, or?
I just brought this was a quinacridone violet, I think. This I just brought in the magenta again, okay? Now, I don't want to put as much into this flower as I did into the other ones, because I want the feeling of it being pushed back. Yep. So then let's also see if we can do something with this guy. And this one can be a little bit, it's hard though. It's hard. Painting's hard. You have to kind of react to what's happening all the time. And I'm going to put a little tiny bit of the violet. Let's see, I got the drip coming. See the drip? Mm-hmm. So you just have to watch what's happening with the water, because if you don't, well, drips aren't so bad though. Oh, thank you, Margaret. But just a little bit. That's nice. I'm going to leave it alone. It's almost like, I'm not going to leave it alone for long though. Here, because it's just a little bit too dark and I want the edge to blend in a little bit. Okay, because it's almost like, it's like a blob.
Got a drip going at the bottom now.
Thank you. Oops, let's get it before it goes. All right, now I want this one to be a little more blended. That can stay harder. But you can see this. See, this is starting to drip now, even though it wasn't before. So let's bring it up. And let's
Is that because it's the hot press?
No, it's because I'm working at an angle. A little line there.
Is it more likely to happen with hot press than cold press?
No.
No. Okay.
No. It's just I'm almost straight up and down here. Okay, let's go to the other flower. And I'm going to make this one pretty big. And pretty strong. I wish that I had made this a lot smaller, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do here. I think what I want to do at this point, before I do too much more, is just get some color into the background. And it's got to be a little bit different than the color. Yeah, I gotta get a little gray. If I can find my, what do you call it? Moon glow. And heck with it. Let's just pick up whatever is in here. Here's a little bit of reddish brown. Let's see what happens when I mix it with the purple. Just to change that. And if I put too much, I can just say, well, you know, mush it out with water. And here's the spray bottle that Karen gave me. Let's put some over here. Oh, I like what's happening. Look, that's running. Isn't that nice? All right. Now, I can always come back to this. I kind of like the different kinds of markings, although they're very different from the other place. I can fix that up later. I do want to see about getting some different color in here. I don't want it all black, all white in the background. So, and maybe I want even some places to be a little stronger in color. So, it's the other thing about demoing is that, you know, some people paint and they don't talk while they're demoing, which kind of makes it boring for people, I think, because it's nice to know what the artist is thinking, but also it distracts the artist from what they're doing. So, but I'm thinking at this point, well, I've got all these greens and I haven't done anything with them, so let's think. I've got some kind of yucky green here. It's kind of a brownish green. Let's see if I can put some in. Now this flower, one of the things to remember with your tulips, here's the stem, but the flower goes all the way over here. So the center is going to be, you take the top and you cut it in half, and that's where your stem has to start, right there. So let's put that in so we don't lose it. Okay, and then this one's good. This one, the one that I drew, is fine. And I'm going to blur that a little bit because I think I want that tulip to, whoops, yeah, a little too dark, but maybe that's all right. Who knows? Maybe that'll be fine. I kind of like the way that's looking now. I may not do too much more to it. It's the big flower. These two are my big stars. And I probably can even help this guy by blurring its edge a little bit, making it a little less important. Sort of fading it back to get rid of the size. Oops. And guess what? There's too much in here. Take some of that off. So every time you put something down, you have to pay attention. It's okay, we can leave it there. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and sometimes just using your finger is a good thing too. You know, it's like, well, why not? All right, so we don't have this stem in, so let's just, so we don't forget about it, let's just put it in there so we know where it is. Okay, and they get a little bigger near the top. All right, so now let's stop for a second.
Okay.